Ron, yeah, go ahead and if you want to go ahead and get that started. Recording.
Good evening, everybody. This is Yulan Cho. I'm the Vice Chair of the Library and Education Advisory Commission. And in lieu of Daniel's absence, and I will start the meeting now. And when he comes into the meeting, I will turn the gravel back to him. So first, let's start with a call to order. So let's go around the table. So may I ask Commissioner Haley?
I'm present.
Commissioner of Therese? Okay, Commissioner of Susan? And we got some new faces. So will John introduce them to our group?
Yes, Yulan.
Before that, sorry, I missed one person. Noni.
Yes.
Present.
Thank you. And
Thank you,
I will turn back to John.
Sure, Yulan. Barbara Martins has been newly appointed to be a commissioner. Welcome, Barbara.
Thank you.
And Ann Anderson has been appointed as alternate.
Thank you, Barbara and Ann. Would you like to introduce yourself a bit?
My name is Barb Martins. I've been in Milpitas for about 42 years. And I retired in 2016. I've been traveling. COVID put a chink in that net. So I was looking for something else to do. And Evelyn Chua suggested that I try for this. So here I am.
Thank you, Barbara, and welcome. And Ann?
Well, I've lived in Milpitas about 10 years. And I taught at Weller Elementary for about 15. And I retired about 7 years ago. So now I sub for the district and I'm a professor at National University.
Welcome,
Nice.
Ann. And with you two additions to our commission, and we sure will count on you for our upcoming events. So, and thank you, Councilwoman Evelyn, for the referral from our communities. Their participation will definitely be appreciated. So let's do the Pledge of Allegiance now. We have the flag. Okay. Okay, let's do it together. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. And the next item is we already did a roll call and the seating of alternates. John, would you please advise if all of us will be seated?
Yes, I think if Dana enters at this point, he would then be alternate at this point.
Okay.
So I think everyone is seated. Yep.
Perfect. So let's proceed to the next item on the agenda. First is approval of the agenda. So would you please take a look at today's agenda items? Any correction, addition? Any motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda for March 21st, 2022.
Thank you, Barbara. Any second?
Seconded.
Thank you, Nolly. So all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the agenda is approved. So next, we also need the approval of the minutes of our last meeting, which was held on January 31st, 2022. So please take a look at the minutes that was sent from John. any correction? Any motion to approve the minutes?
I move we approve the minutes.
Thank you, Noli. And anybody wants to second the motion?
I second the motion.
Thank you, Haley. And all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Thank you. So both the agenda for today and the minutes for last meeting were approved. So next is the public forum. John, may I ask if we have any community member registered for today's meeting?
Yes, hi, Vice Chair. We do. We have one gentleman.
Things?
Yes, Ravish Kumar Mehta. Ron, would you mind promoting?
Okay.
Ravish Kumar Mehta?
Let me read the public forum
Sure.
rules. Oral public comments may be provided live during the Library and Education Advisory Commission meeting by first registering for the Zoom meeting in advance by providing email address and the name. And after register, you will receive a confirmation email containing information about joining the webinar. Okay, all comments provided shall be limited to 3 minutes or less, as determined by the meeting chair. All members of the public will be limited to 1 comment per agenda item and 1 comment for non-agenda items. The online written comment form previously used is no longer available for public comment. Okay, so we have one person raised the hand.
Yes, Ravish Kumar Mehta.
Yes,
Yes, would you like to speak for 3 minutes?
sure, please.
Go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Library and Education Advisory Commission of City of Milpitas. I want to thank you for the push to speak as a public speaker to the City of Milpitas. I wanted to emphasize on of a City of Milpitas diversification and as well as the development as a metro city. Now, it is important to recognize that as the city is going through a development phase, it is important that the Library Education and Advisory Commission must adhere and bind to a sister-to-sister community programs and sister-to-sister cities and county community programs and establish a memorandum of understanding as a part of a different fellowship programs, allowing the youth to learn the culture preservation of a City of Milpitas, as well as increase the historical, cultural, art, and as well as the religious findings of City of Milpitas, as well as what the City of Milpitas boundaries has cultivated over the years since the inception of the city. It is equally important that having such library portfolio of specifically of the City of Milpitas and converting that to the digital portfolio would allow the City of Milpitas students to access plethora of resources. For example, creating a web portal and creating the PDFs and allowing those PDFs to be accessible directly to the citizens and youth services as a part of a digital strategy would enable the City of Milpitas to directly access the resources as a part of a distant learning program as well. To the extent by signing the memorandum of understanding with the different cities, for example, not just cities, including the countries, like for example, Israel, South Africa, as well as China. We have the delegates and commissioner from those respective countries, whereas they allow the benefits of those education resources to be bind to the Library and Education Advisory Commission, and also signing the memorandum of understanding through the City of Milpitas, allowing the copyrights boundaries to be exchanged between the cities, and also to ensure that those digital resources be applicable to the youth it is important to understand the demographics of a city of Milpitas and what is the significance of city of Milpitas within the Silicon Valley. Developing the city as a metro is a one part. Inclusion into the technology master plan is a second part. However, what becomes more important is the city of Milpitas to be represented as a metro city, and a global city would be a completely a different task altogether. Thank you very much for consideration of comments.
Thank you. And John, do we have anybody from the public forum?
No, that's it.
Okay.
Vice Chair, thank you.
I would like to share some information as a Milpitas library user, and then I will turn the table to Kelly if there's any additional information to provide to be provided to the Sister City Commission. Even before the pandemic, the Santa Clara County Library System has a wide range of digital resources that were provided to community members, as well as events, programs, and materials. And during pandemic, I think the county library, as many other libraries, including the one I'm currently working at, all extended the programs and the services to online, for example, on social media platforms. For example, that was the first time I attended the Mandarin story time on Facebook. That I think that was conducted by the county librarian Jing, right? So there were a lot of programs online, and also to my understanding in terms of the digital resources, and many of us during pandemic, we were able to use our library card to access the resources, and also the online patron registration was kind of like broadened to a different scope. And to my understanding, for example, there are several vendors and aligned with the school district to provide access to the digital resources. So that also may be a possible venue in the future, and to reach out to sister city relationships as well. With this, I would like to turn back to Kelly if there's anything you would like to add to address the public forum. Because most of the information are on the county library as well as the Milpitas library webpage. That's where I found.
Yeah, absolutely. Our website has a treasure trove of resources. We have a very robust online collection from books and ebooks through to tutoring available online, a number of learning programs such as the new LinkedIn learning platform, and other types of resources, all available for free with your library card. And as Yulan mentioned, you can get a library card online if there is a form on there. And additionally, all of our events are listed on there. We have a great many virtual online events right now. I see Jennifer, our county librarian, is here. Jennifer, did you want to add anything?
Absolutely. As you both have so eloquently stated, there have been many opportunities over the last few years, which we've learned from. So we will continue to have these digital resources expand, our online offerings, which don't require a library card, actually, that anyone all over the world, and we know, Chair, that they did indeed join us for Mandarin Storytime. And I absolutely love your idea of this Zooming and virtual world that we've lived in will continue to be a connection. So certainly the library is always interested in expanding horizons and giving opportunity for education. So with Sister City or other commissions, we'd be happy to work in partnership with that. We also have many, many things in other languages, of course, than English within our collection, both digitally and in paper. So I just wanted to give a shout out to that. I think it's up to 165 languages.
Thank you, Jennifer, and thank you, Kelly. I see Reka joined the meeting as well as Dana. So, John, can I pass the
I think
my power back to Dana to host the meeting?
Well, actually, I think probably not, Yulan, just because we've already seated the alternates.
Okay.
And yeah, so Dana, I hope you're comfortable with the conversation we had before, and Yulon quarterbacking the rest of this meeting, and Rika will have you as alternate as well. Thank you.
All right. So let's continue. So next one is the announcement and the correspondence.
Yeah, I just wanted to, a couple things. We wanted to introduce a couple new members to our commission. First off, Rika has been promoted for alternate to commissioners. So congratulations, Rika, and welcome.
Thank you.
We have Barbara Martins who gave her history of Milpitas, and she will now be a new commissioner. Welcome, Barbara. And then Ann Anderson, who's a local educator in the area in Milpitas, has joined us also as an alternate. So just wanted to welcome them, and thank you, Councilmember Chua, for for the recommendation. The only thing I'd like to add is I had a conversation with Kelly regarding her digital coaching program, and we're going to work together. We have, if you recall, we have our Technology for Seniors program about the last year and a half, in part funded from the Community Development Block Grant, which supported purchasing Chromebook devices and then having a laptop loaner program. We currently have, I believe, 32 senior community members who are using that. So we're excited to, if you recall, Kelly mentioned that the last meeting, kind of launching that new program. So we're going to try to send some of our members that way. And that's it. We're open. We're more classes here at the Senior Center, every week, and we're hoping that we get past the pandemic and we could get back to pre-pandemic numbers. But it feels good to hear the center bustling again, and hearing the chatter and the noise and all the laughter. So that feels good.
Thank you, John. And proceeding to the next item on the agenda is new business. Actually, the first item, I will turn to Dana, our chair for the work plan projects. Dana, would you like to, let's unmute, can we unmute Dana?
Okay, I've been having computer problems, as you could tell. I think I mentioned to John, I think it was a Comcast problem. The first item on the work plan is the past county forum. For those members who missed the online Zoom version earlier in February, I did send a link to John of the roughly hour-and-a-half forum. So anybody who missed it, who would like to see it, please contact John to ask him to forward that to you. It was worthwhile, especially the ending where they gave updates on what's happening at each of the libraries and what's happening at library headquarters. Any questions on that first item?
I think every year the program is well planned, well executed. Always learned a lot from the fellow commissioners from different cities of the county. And this year, unfortunately, I misplaced in my calendar. When I found it out, it's already one day off. So I definitely will check with John for the link of the recording.
Yes, Steve Fitzgerald was nice enough to send that to me so that I could forward it to John for anybody who would like to see it.
I'll just go ahead and send that to the whole group after the meeting, if that's okay.
Thank you. So maybe let's move on to the next item, the essay contest. John, Yulon, and I had several online Zoom meetings on this topic, and we also involved Kelly. And so with that, I would like to turn it over to John for kind of an overview and a summary. And I think one important thing is, if you remember from our previous meeting, there was a consensus that the essay contest should be directly connected to the Milpitas library. We did have to change the format to an online version rather than in person. So let me now turn it over to John.
Sure. Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I think if you recall, last year we hosted the event in June, so we weren't able to actually capture or do the promotion through the school district. So this year and moving forward, our goal is to do that in April. We checked the different dates as far as when the SAT tests are and when their vacations are. And Yulan, you'll have to help me with the exact date, but I believe it was the latter part of April. So what we thought, we're going to present a couple options, and Kelly, thank you for you and your group to come up with a couple essay prompts that we can consider for both the middle school and the high school. We thought we created a pretty good template last year that we'd like to replicate as we're still in this pandemic. We thought it was prudent to do it virtually again this year. We'll probably host the same type of celebration or award ceremony similar, and hopefully Councilmember Chua, you could join us for that. I thought that that was wonderful as far as the presentation. Ron, if you wouldn't mind pulling up the flyer that we used last year, the essay writing contest. This is the flyer our marketing department did. We would change the the graphic, but if you wouldn't mind scrolling down a little bit on that. We're thinking using the same format. Dana, Yulan, I thought we reduced the prize amount, and I don't recall what that is. If you could.
I think
Get off of
Dana.
Yes,
has-
we decided to have 3 levels for each middle school and for the high school. And while the Olympics were going on, we thought of bronze, silver, and gold, maybe $100, $200, and $300. So that would be a total of $1,200, 3 for each level. But again, that's something that we can discuss and vote on to make sure that makes sense.
Yes, we'll vote on that. We thought we'd use the same the length of entry, and we'd still use the same format as far as the entry. The submissions would be forwarded to me, but instead of sending those submissions to the judges kind of in groupings, we would do that all at once. We thought that would be easier than give the judges a week or two to work through all the different entries. I believe we settled on maybe a limit of 50 per division, and just in consideration of the time that it takes to review all those, we do have some suggestions that Dana Yulan will offer in regard to the potential judges for that. But if this type of format is agreeable, and I think at the end we'll be voting on this, I feel pretty confident that we can get the marketing out. Once we kind of gain consensus, as far as the format, I could ask marketing to start working on it immediately, so we could get it out to the school districts within 2 weeks. So there's at least 2 or 3 weeks promotion out there, and then we're looking at probably doing the judging in May and the award ceremony in June. That's Dana, Yulan, am I capturing everything?
Yeah, the deadline for submission, I think we were talking about April 23rd, but definitely with this, we have ample time. Even that needs to be pushed back a little into early May. I think it depends on the judges' availability. So once the two groups of judges being pulled and the schedule being checked, and probably to settle with the deadline would be good. Last year, I think the challenge was some of the judges were on vacation in June. So we had to wait a bit for the judges to return result. We are also very excited to see 2 new members join our commission. And anybody who is interested in being a judge, I think you can let Dana know, right? And John, the judges, 2 groups of judges,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes, and I already have 2 judges that I need to inform them now. It'll be an online effort rather than in person at the library. But my suggestion is that each commissioner try to recruit at least 2 judges and connect them to John and me, especially John, since he'll be the focal point collecting everything online. But I think we should, once we agree on this tonight, I think time then is of the essence. So we have to move quickly to get maybe a minimum of 2, or 3 would be better, but to connect those individuals with John and me. Does that make sense? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So what would be next? There?
I think next, why don't we share the essay prompt suggestions? If that's
From Kelly.
from Kelly. So this is from Kelly and her team. We'll see. Ron, I think it's labeled essay prompt. May have been a separate attachment, separate email. There we go. Thank you.
There we go.
Kelly, did you want to kind of share how your team came?
Yeah. So my team came up with a couple of different prompts for each category. They weren't sure if you wanted a why statement or something different, so they offered a couple of options in there. So you can see in that first one where they're asking, imagine you have a friend from a place where there are no libraries. Write a letter to your friend describing what a library is, what it does, and what it means to you. They also offered an alternate of that question as a why question. Why is having a library important? Why is a library important to you? So 2 choices there for middle school. The second one is, a library is a place that opens people's lives. How does the library expand your world? And then the high school ones, the first one is about during the pandemic. While libraries were offering partial services, people called the library a lifeline for their families. How are library services a lifeline during hard times? Did your family use library services during the pandemic? And how did going to the library make you and your family feel? Which could instead be, why is the library a lifeline for people during a difficult time like the pandemic lockdown? Or why was the library a lifeline for people during the pandemic lockdown? And then the second option for high school is it's based on the mission statement for SCCLD, since SCCLD is going through a strategic planning process. This would be a great prompt to get some youth thoughts on our mission statement. So you can see the SCCLD mission statement there. And then the question would be, in our current time of great change, do you think that this mission statement meets the needs of the library of the future? And what would you add or change?
Thank you, Kelly. This is very good. And I'm impressed that you involved your library staff. That was wonderful. The first thing that I see the 2 that I like, one for middle and one for high school, and it comes under the military acronym KISS, keep it simple. I really like for middle school, why is the library important to you? It's a very good sort of open-ended question that would really make them think about the library and sort of articulate, how it's important in their lives. And then also under high school, I really like the lifeline idea, connecting it to the pandemic and the lockdown. So that I guess my if I were to vote, I would say for middle school, why is the library important to you? And for the high school, I would say why, you could either say is or maybe is/was the library a lifeline for people during difficult time like the pandemic lockdown. I think that was well done. But I want the other commissioners to chime in also.
Any thoughts from the group?
For the high
Right.
school topic, actually the second one about the SCCLD's mission statement, and I like the part. In the current time, the any great change, that this mission statement meets the needs of the library of the future. Because I like the part, this is already 2 years after the first pandemic lockdown happened on March 16th, 2020, 2 years after. And hopefully this is a great opportunity for us to look into the future, especially for high schoolers. And they are definitely the new generation in our community for tomorrow's leadership. So I saw the second question tailored to the county libraries mission statement would be a great idea.
If I may speak. I like both this for middle as well as high school, the second prompts, because both of them have a more open-endedness to it, but also like they are more critical thinking questions. That's what like students in schools these days focus so much on. Like they wanted to not, because the second question here is like expand on how does the library expand your world? So it could mean different to different people, right? So that's why it's like a little open-ended. So I like that because it's a essay contest, right? So we kind of leave it open. We'll get a lot more responses. And I like the high school second one because again, it involves critical thinking for students. They need to, it's their way of getting engaged in the community, giving feedback on the mission statement and making it futuristic, right? So it's their leadership skills and all of that play a role in the second one. So I like the second one for that reason.
I worked at
I'd like to piggyback on, oh, I'm sorry, Barbara.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. I'd like to piggyback on what Rekha said. For the middle school, I like the first one. It's straightforward. Why is having a library important? Why is the library important to you? For the high school, I like the second statement because it talks about the mission statement, but that's it. I'm afraid that if they see the word mission statement, especially in the question at the bottom, on the bottom, it says, in our current time of great change, do you think that this mission statement meets the needs of the library of the future? Excuse me. They will be focusing on the mission statement instead of the what the libraries do, as libraries. So I'm thinking that maybe instead of that prompt, in our current time of great change, do you think that the libraries are fulfilling the needs of the community that it serves during these current times? Something like that. Instead of focusing on the mission statement, which is, we can use the mission statement as the context for the prompt. But in the prompt itself, I think for me, we should focus on the libraries themselves. Do you think that the libraries fulfill or are fulfilling the needs of the community during these current times of needs? That's my that's what I'm thinking about the second prompt for the high school students.
So sorry, Helio. So I think instead of asking them, do you think? Because it could also be like, oh no, it doesn't. Like, so instead you say,
Yeah.
how do you I don't know, like ask them, how has the library contributed? That will make them think more positive about how the library has changed or helped somebody, right? That's what I feel.
How many words is the essay?
Between 400 and 500 we had last year.
So we want to make sure the question's not too big for 500 words.
Right.
But I worked at Milpitas Unified for 15 years, and most of that time I was at Rancho Middle School. And I worked in the office, so I had a different view on kids than teachers do. Which doesn't mean anything, it's just different. I think it's important to make them think not about themselves, but about others in middle school. So why is the library important to the community and your family or something like that? But so they can, it's not too big of a question, but they can sort of expand a little bit. It might be a little difficult for 7th graders, but not 8th graders. It depends on what time of year it is, if it's the end of the year or the beginning of the year. So it sounds like it's at the end of the year. And then I don't have, I'm too new to this. I just wonder if freshmen and sophomore high school kids will know what a mission statement is. I'm out of touch with that world completely, so they may, I don't know. Will they know what a mission statement is?
They should.
Okay.
The high school where I taught, Fremont High School, and the Fremont Union High School District, the mission statements or the vision of the schools are posted there, and they know.
Okay. Yeah, I just didn't know. Okay.
John, how
Been
many?
a long time since I was in high school.
Pardon me?
Been a long time since I was in high school.
John, how many commissioners do we have? I'm sorry, I missed the beginning. How many are attending the meeting?
I think we have the 7 because we had two or actually three promoted. Yeah, and then yourself and Rika would be alternates today.
So we have a total of 7.
7 voting, yeah.
In the sales world, it's always important to ask what they call open-ended question, like the why or the how. And the comments about the mission statement being a little bit overwhelming, I think I agree with that. And again, I just want to emphasize that keeping it simple and straightforward. That's why I like the middle school in red. Why is having a library important? And maybe you can combine those two whys. Why is it important and why is it important to you? So it gets them thinking about themselves, but also other people. And then I really like the the lifeline idea for the high schoolers because it's so relevant to the past 2 years where, they were, for a while kind of locked down. And I guess as my opinion would be to keep it simple using the open-ended why for both.
If I could just add another suggestion, I mean, there's no reason why you couldn't just say, why is the library a lifeline for people during a difficult time, and just end the sentence there. Or forget the mission statement part and then say something like, in our current time of great change, what do we need to see in the library of the future? Something like that. So just kind of take out all the other parts of the question.
Yeah, you're sort of combining the two into one. I like that.
So therefore, for the middle school, can we add, the difficult time to the question, why is having a library important during these difficult times or during these time of great challenges? Because if we say, why is having a library important? I think that's very simplistic. They can say, to have access to books and cultural materials. It provides, childcare for busy parents, blah, blah, blah. But in these current times, when we are having the pandemic, a war is raging somewhere in Europe, homelessness is one issue that Milpitas is facing. And for people to be able to use the library as a safe place, So
Helly, would it be something like during difficult times such as a pandemic? Why is having a library important in your community? And
yes,
and
something like that.
and how was the library important to you specifically?
But add that element of the now, the challenges that we're facing now.
How about Susan, Ann, or Councilmember Chua, do you have any thoughts?
Thank you, John. No, I leave it up to the commission. It's all yours.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
I personally like the letter format because it's personalized for the students or the participant to write a letter outlining why is the library important to themselves as well as a community. But then I guess it's fine to like Dana mentioned, it's open-ended questions. Open-ended questions for the participants to write an essay. I think that's fine too, but I personally prefer to write a letter. It's more personalized. Yeah.
Ann, did you have any thoughts?
No, at this point, I'd just like to listen.
Okay.
I kind of like the first question for middle school with the combining the two with why is having a library important to the community and why is important to you. So you get both. They're thinking of themselves, but also thinking of others and the larger purpose of the library, not just what they get out of it. I kind of like the second question for high school, but with Helly's suggested change about not making it about the mission statement, but about the library itself. In the current times of great change, how does the library meet the needs of the future? What would you add or change?
Yeah, that's okay. So why don't we? It seems like we almost had a mini consensus. I like both of those comments. So, John, could you maybe help us summarize, so we can maybe vote on it so we can move forward?
Yeah, I don't know if I could do that successfully. There's just so many great ideas and different perspectives. If I could offer, Chair Kelly, kind of given this feedback, I could ask our recording secretary to capture all the ideas, all the thoughts. Do you think we could potentially bring that back to your group and kind of consolidate or kind of merge these thoughts? It seems like we're all kind of moving in the same direction, but it might take a little bit more time than what we have in front of us now to come up with something succinct.
Yeah, I'm hearing number 1 for middle school, number 2 for high school with modifications. I think I could have that done and sent back to you pretty quickly, John.
Okay, great. And maybe what we'll vote on, Chair, is that given this feedback, if we can kind of merge all those together and capturing kind of the essence of, I think we all we're wanting it to be, how's the library important during this tenuous time, and how has it affected you personally? And with that focus on the library, I think we could maybe our voting is that we're moving in that direction, and we entrust that that final essay prompt to Kelly and her team, moving forward.
I would like to suggest that we don't use the word pandemic, because these kids have been pandemic to death, and it's been a negative connotation for a lot of them. So challenging in these challenging times, or these different times, or the last 2 years, or however you want to word it, but I think the word pandemic should be left out.
That's a great point.
Yep, I agree. No pandemic, no quarantine, right?
So many of these kids don't have stable life at home.
Sure.
And so, or parents that are working, so they don't have an adult around to help, all this time to help them sort of not feel so scared.
Sure.
Okay, why don't we implement John's suggestion, which I like, that we allow Kelly to come up with a succinct combination of what we just focused on, and then maybe get it to John, what would be no later than Wednesday, or how quickly, Kelly, could you do that for John?
Yeah, we can have it to John on Wednesday. No problem.
Okay, good.
Right.
So why don't we have a motion to agree that that's the action, and those of us who agree, we could just say yes. Dana says yes.
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 Okay, good. Let me see. John, do we need any other consensus in terms of judging?
Well, yeah, I think just and similarly, I think if we can just kind of gain consensus on the track, using last year's kind of formula and template, use of the judges, kind of the time frame allowed. Our marketing department will create the flyer and work with the library on the distribution. If I guess we're just trying to find agreement that last year's formula, that we want to go forward with that, and then we could do a lot of that kind of offline.
Last year's rubrics was researched by Haley, and I think that was well crafted, and we can continue to use the same rubrics for judges to rate all the essay entries.
Okay, so I have a motion that we pursue John's suggestion and Yulan's suggestion and move forward as expeditiously as we can. So if everybody, I'll vote yes. So why don't we just go down and see if everybody agrees?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yes.
Good. Okay, John, that sounds like
Very good.
consensus.
Thank
So
you.
let me see. Does anybody have anything else on the essay contest? John, do you feel we can move on?
I do. Yes. Thank you. And great feedback.
I have one thing to say, John, if you don't mind.
Sure.
In the chat messages, I wrote my version of the 2 prompts. So just for
very
everyone
good.
to
Thank
look
you.
at. Yeah, but we don't need to talk about it now as we move forward.
All right. Thank you, Hallie.
You're welcome.
And are we ready for the next agenda item? And the next agenda item is the library donor program. With this, I will table it to Dana again.
Okay, we have had no new donors. So with that, what I would again request is especially the new commission members to visit the library donor board outside of Kelly's office and pick up 1 or 2 of the flyers, but it explains the different donor levels, the fact that Kelly is the focal point of any donation. And what the specific request after you collect maybe 2 or 3 of these flyers is to look at your community, your neighbors, maybe some family members that you might know who utilize the library. I was able to get one of my neighbors here. I remembered that their 2 kids used the library and they made a family donation. It's one of the few deductions we have left on the 1040. So I would ask each commissioner to take that as an action item.
Where is Kelly's office?
As you face the checkout desk, it's just to the left.
Okay, in our library. It's in our library.
Yeah, it's in the library.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, okay.
It said community library, so I can't see her own title. I didn't know if she was county or Milpitas. Got it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
She's in charge of the library, and she's the one that the individual would give the check to, and then she gets it to headquarters. Any questions? Any other questions on that agenda item, the library donor program? If not, let's move on to the next category, which would be staff, city council liaison. So Friends of the Milpitas Library Report, Noni.
Yeah, Dana, I'm sorry. We'll probably have Yulon kind of quarterback that piece if that's okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
just as a formality.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay.
No worry. So we will turn this to Noli for the Friends of the Milpitas Library Report.
Thanks, Comcast.
There we are. So we've got a small book sale coming up at the end of April. It'll coincide with the programming at the library for the Day of the Child. It's April 30th and May 1st. It's a little sale using the 2 group study rooms, not a big thing in the auditorium. We are not having our June sale. I think we mentioned this last meeting because the county will be in there for voting. So they'll be in the auditorium during the same time that we would have had our sale. So we'll have this mini sale April into May, and then we'll have another one in August, and then we'll be back to our regular large sales in September. I think that's about it.
I just have one additional item. The Friends of the Library will continue supporting the essay contest, and I'll coordinate that with John.
That's great to know. Thank you, Noli, and thank you, Dana.
Thank you.
Any questions for Lynn too? Ellie, do you have a question? I see your dialog box is blinking. Okay, thank you. So next, Jennifer, for the county library report.
Good evening. Jennifer Weeks, County Librarian for the Santa Clara County Library District. It's nice to be here with all of you, and welcome new commissioners. Always wonderful to see some new smiles on the Zoom screen and soon in person, I hope. So the way your meetings often fall, I know, are in between some months, right, John? So I know ahead there in your packet are a few updates from the last few months, which obviously you've already had a chance to look over. So I really just wanted to call out a few things at the district level. Kelly will certainly give you more of a Milpitas perspective, but really, you know, those 2 months, I hope that you can see how much the library is a place of celebration, education, and belonging. So we've had the last 2 months, obviously Black History Month and Women's History Month. So I wanted to point out this week, there are actually 2 exciting events coming up. On tomorrow night at 6:30, we have Chef Bryant Terry. He's a James Beard award-winning chef. He'll be doing an online program for us on his book, Black Food Stories, Art, and Recipes. Additionally, the next night, if you're feeling artistic, we have a Paint Like Georgia O'Keeffe night with a local Gilroy artist, Cheryl Cathers. So these are both virtually available to everyone. And so I encourage you to check out our website if that's something you would like to participate in. Additionally, Silicon Valley Reads is wrapping up at the end of this month. There are a few more programs, as well as a forest of kindness trees at every single district library. I hope that you've taken a chance to kind of look through our website, but really we've just been capturing such wonderful feelings, similarly to what you've all been discussing with the essay contest of how libraries deeply affect our communities in such positive ways. So really wonderful to see some of that. And then before I see you again, National Library Week will kick off on April 3rd. That will be a kind of a celebration of all things library. And just a couple facts for you all, where there are over 16,600 public libraries in the United States and 671 bookmobiles. We have 2 of them, so that's pretty cool. But again, we are very excited for all the things that we're able to bring the community, and beginning in mid-April, in-person programs will again resume. So Kelly's team, I know, 7 days a week. I know there's been lots of happenings at the library that she will update you on. So I'm happy to turn it over to her, but then of course we'll both stay on for questions.
Any questions for Jennifer? Thank you, Jennifer. And the next I will turn to Kelly for the community library report.
All right, thank you. And just since we do have a couple of, I do see a question there. Do you want to go to that first? No question. Okay. For our new commission members, I am Kelly McKean. I am the community librarian, so I am based at Milpitas Library. Come and find me. I'm happy to talk to you. I'd love to give you a tour and a behind the scenes tour. So I might reach out to you and we'll try and make something happen there. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen. All right, so hopefully you can see my little slideshow there. We have had a busy time since our January meeting, all kinds of happenings at Milpitas Library. One moment here. So a little snapshot of some of the exciting things that have happened. You can see these pictures here show some of the wonderful new furniture that we got in the children's area. Thank you to the friends. Dana had asked me about if that furniture had arrived, so I made sure I took some pictures so you could see. We have these great little stools in our window booths, and they are being enjoyed. And they're perfect for 2 to share that space there. So thank you, friends of the library, for those new additions. At our last meeting, I let everyone know that we were going to be starting passport services again. So it has been 8 weeks since passport services started, and we have had 122 adult passport applications and 282 minor passport applications. So our passport service has been busy and very much in demand. So we're happy to be able to bring that back to the community. And then, as Jennifer mentioned, in-person programming is coming up. And so the rest of my slideshow, I just want to celebrate all of the things that we already have planned in April. And beginning with, for the first time since 2020, our kindergarten story time will be starting on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and that will begin on April 19th at 10:30 a.m. So we hope to see the 3 to 5-year-olds in the library coming for some songs, some rhymes, and some stories. So really looking forward to that. And our children's librarians are very excited to have that happening again. We also have the Get Ready for Kindergarten workshops, which are currently happening in our virtual space. They will also be happening in April in Milpitas Library in our auditorium. Registration is required, but we have some great topics there for parents to come and learn from our early childhood educator, Dr. Gerardo Lopez. Reading Buddies is coming back by popular demand, not just from our children, but also our staff have kept asking me, when are the Reading Buddies coming back? Because they love seeing the animals when they come into the library. So if you don't know what Reading Buddies is, we have volunteers that bring their specially trained therapy dogs, and children can sit down and read a book to them, and it is a highlight every month when they visit the library. So really happy to see them coming back on April 23rd. And then on April 30th, we are celebrating our Dia de los Niños, Dia de los Libros at the library. And that, as Noni mentioned, happening at the same time as our book sale there. And we have a variety of different things happening with a take and go craft, as well as an in-person craft in the library, and then a family movie matinee. So we hope to see some families turning out to enjoy that day with us. And then also by popular demand, our Tai Chi classes will be starting weekly on Fridays, beginning April 15th. So I know we have a lot of people looking forward to that happening again. And for our teens, we do have an AP practice test to help them prepare for AP tests coming up. And then along with all of these, our rooms are also open for bookings from the public. So our community room will be available. Our study rooms have been available for some time, but our community room will be available from April 11th. And we already have several bookings in there. So we're looking forward to seeing some great community events happening, and happy to take questions.
Kelly, I have a question. Kelly, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, my wife was in the library today, and just as she walked into the parking garage, the fire alarm went off and the big metal doors came down. And she asked me to ask you what happened, and were you able to get the doors up okay?
Yeah, so we have had some exciting times. We had some emergency building maintenance a couple of weeks ago, which we were happy that we were quickly able to open most of the library, but we did have some water issues there. And today the fire alarms went off. So just not long after opening, something in the garage set it off. There was no actual fire, no emergency, but the alarms went off. They're very, very loud, and all of the fire doors came down. So it took a little while to resolve that. Not too long. We were able to get people back in the library within 30 minutes, but just lots of running around trying to figure that out and waiting for the fire department to clear the building. So everything is good, and a good test of our emergency systems, and everything is working just as it should be. So
Thank you. She'll be happy.
Never a dull moment.
No.
Any other question for Kelly? Thank you.
Thank you.
And next, I will turn to Councilmember Chua with the City Council report.
Thank you, Vice Chair Yulan. Welcome, everyone, and welcome to our new commissioners Commissioner Barbara and Commissioner Ann, thank you for taking on this responsibility. I know you're gonna have fun. I've been twisting the arm of Commissioner Marston for a long, long time. She finally gave in. Was so persistent. So anyway, thank you all so much, and great to see John as well and Vince, and I think Ron is on the IT. Thank you for keeping us visible, and also thank you to Kelly and Jennifer, and I'm not missing anybody. So oh, thank you, Vice Chair Yulan, for stepping in as chair. Did really well in such a short notice. Thank you, so professional. So I just want to share that on April 24th is Earth Day. So if you don't have anything to do, just visit the, where the senior center, the new solar system right in front of the senior center. So that's where the event will be happening. That is actually that solar system, and the upgrade to the senior center using battery is a grant from Silicon Valley Clean Energy, which I'm one of the board of directors. We got $750,000 for that one. And last Tuesday, I recommended to carve out $200,000 for the catalytic converter issue that we're facing. So I have been for a month, and even today, I've been to several automotive related businesses just to get feedback on how we're going to successfully implement this catalytic converter grants. I've learned a lot. You asked me about catalytic converters. I know a lot now. I'm still going around and figuring out feedback, and based on the feedback, then I will work with staff. And also Ron, our IT person, are you there?
I'm here.
Hi, can you make sure to fix our webpage? Because I see old commissioners there, and I think we need to ask pictures from Barbara and Ann, and also update, because congratulations to Commissioner Reka. She's now a voting member. She used to be an alternate. Thank you for her hard work. And the most important thing, John, can you see if we can get jackets for Barbara and Ann? Because one of my recommendation is to provide as an appreciation for the commissioners this jacket. I only asked for a t-shirt, but now I found out we're getting jackets.
Yes, certainly, council member. I got that from the rest of the group, and I'll pass that on to city manager's office.
Right.
So I'll reach out to both Barbara and Ann tomorrow to get those sizes.
To make sure Barbara and Commissioner Barbara and Ann
Thank you.
Get them. And also, John, make sure when we do the event, if we can get t-shirts for everyone. I know it's gonna eat your budget.
Guaranteed.
Because we can use it throughout the year. I mean, the rest.
We'll use our Cricut like we did last time.
I know. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And also for our partners, our regional partners and community level, I would like to have, if it's ready, I would like to have the flyers for the National Library Week, and also the passport and the kindergarten story time. Because we got requests, a couple of the residents asked me about the passport services. So I would like to share that in council meeting on April 5th, Tuesday. So that's all I have. And thank you all for coming. It's a full house. Everybody's here. Yay. So thank you.
I have one quick question. Is there someone on the commission that I can spend some time on the phone with, so I can get a little bit more up to speed about the duties, responsibilities, and such?
Dana, would you like to help Barbara? I'm more than happy if to be a backup after you speak to Barbara.
Okay, did you suggest Dana?
I suggest you because you are the chair.
Yeah,
We look up to you.
I agree. I think it's a good idea.
Okay, it doesn't have to be, like tomorrow, but because I know you guys are all busy, but just at some point.
Yeah. How would you like me to give you a call, or we can meet in
Yeah.
person, whichever you want.
I'll put my phone number in the comments under hosts and panelists.
Okay, why don't you just give me your cell number now? I'll just write it down.
It's 408-667-2863.
Got it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Councilmember Chua? Thank you, Councilmember Chua. I know you have many initiatives in the town, and you are at many community events, and that's really appreciated. And I'm sure with the new solar panel, your Earth Day celebration will be under shade, right? Well, I do have a question about the reclaimed water, because I see last time, about a couple of years ago, I asked whether the library is using the reclaimed water for the outside lawn. I don't know, because I was told the city has a limited supply of the reclaimed water. And of course, hopefully the library is one of the agencies in town that can use the reclaimed water. And that would be great, for any long watering in the community to use the recycled water, reclaimed water.
Yeah, I will, because you have to have a special pipe. It's a purple pipe because from the source to wherever you want to go. So I'm gonna reach out to John to please ask Public Works if our library is using the purple pipes for recycled water.
That would be great, because I know many library buildings are certified by LEED. I think Milpitas is certified as silver, because you don't have a shower, right? If you have a shower, that will be LEED gold. That's what I was told by the architect. What's the difference between the LEED gold certification versus the LEED silver? And I was told for gold, you need to have a shower room for the bicycle, employees to use. So if the library can use the recycled water, that would be great. Any other questions? So any future agenda items? Please let Dana and John know. With this, I'm going to retire again. And do we have a motion to adjourn today's meeting?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Rika, for offering the motion. Any second?
I'll second. Dana seconds.
John, can Dana second, because he's not seated?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm also not seated today.
Oh, yeah. So let me check again. So, who has a motion to adjourn today's meeting?
I make a motion to adjourn today's meeting.
Thank you, Barbara. Anybody to second?
I second.
Thank you, thank you, Susan. And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much. And the meeting is ended, but I would like to turn back to Dana if you have anything to share with our group.
Well, I'll do a better job with Comcast. I'm going to start a half hour ahead of time. I have no idea why it failed to connect. But on a personal note, my wife and I have sold our house. Debbie Giordano sold it within 9 days. We had 12 offers and we got a very, very good price. Luckily, we own another house in Milpitas that will be our address during our transition period. So we're still here in Milpitas, and I'll give John that new address as we transition there. So
Congratulations.
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 You know, they actually publish in the Milpitas Post the amount of money we got for the house. So I don't want to brag, but just, you know, maybe in the next couple of weeks, look in the at the back of the Milpitas Post, they have the real estate section, and we're on Glenview Drive. So we were the only house for sale in the Chappelle Hillcrest area. So we had 200 people come through the house. We had 12 offers, and we're very happy with what we got and what Debbie did for us.
Awesome.
And not only your address, but actually your name, along with the amount, will be published in Milpitas Post.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
And when I
Stellar.
read today's Mercury News, I think the average number of days to sell a house in the county is 8 days. So you are
Good.
right there.
Let me give you a hint. We got 600K over asking price.
What?
Yeah, I have a friend that's a real
600,000.
estate agent in Milpitas. It's really off the
Yes.
charts right now.
We think we're at the peak of the market to get that much over asking.
Well,
And in cash.
Well, congratulations, Dana. Enjoy it.
We're gonna be pretty happy.
and John and Dana, may I ask for our next meeting, will it be in person or Zoom meeting again?
It'll be in person.
Oh, thank
we-
you.
the way things stand right now.
So
we're in
no
person.
worry about the Comcast issue
Right.
anymore.
We're crossing our fingers.
What is it? The date would be
May 16th, I believe.
May 16th.
May 16th.
Okay, where's my?
All right.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a nice
Bye-bye.
evening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.